Welcome to another episode of Saxo Friends. I'm your host, Dave, saxologist. Today, my special guest is a brother out of Minneapolis. I mean, it's just a lot of good people coming out here, a lot of great musicians coming out of here. So I want to introduce you all to my brother, Danny Cusack. Danny, how are you,
What's up,
man?
everybody? I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
Oh man, I am doing wonderful, brother. But first of all, I have to say, my heart goes out to the people of Minnesota. And I know you're out there. So, how are you and your family, first of all?
We're doing well. Everybody is safe. We've had no issues that have affected our family, but obviously want to send our condolences and thoughts with, everybody's that's been affected by everything that's going on. And we have a great community here, and I do want to stand up and say that we have some pretty amazing people here in Minnesota, and I'm proud of our state. So.
Well, you know what, brother? I said I had to start that out by because all this unrest and I know you're a brother of peace, so I want to just extend that to you. And we're all out here on the West Coast and all over the country. We're praying for you guys, okay?
Well, we appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. Now, with that being said, my man coming out of Minneapolis, brother. First of all, what was your first instrument, man, when you got started playing music?
So my first instrument was actually the violin. I started playing violin in the fourth grade and started off taking private lessons because my parents were trying to push me in all different kinds of activities because I was a little bit of a rambunctious child. So they they were trying to do everything that they could to keep me occupied with everything. So yeah, they pushed me towards music. I also did a lot of acting, but music became a passion of mine. And then once I got into fifth grade, they had opportunities for kids to join concert band, and unfortunately, they didn't have string instruments in concert bands. So I had to choose a new instrument and just sort of randomly chose the saxophone. Yeah, and the funny thing is most of the kids were choosing tenor. I ended up going with alto, and sort of alto became kind of my passion and sort of my lead instrument most of my career. But yeah, that's kind of how the whole thing started off.
So did you enjoy playing the violin? Was that something you enjoyed a lot?
I did. I don't have like great memories of my violin teacher. I don't want to say she was like aggressive, but like she was very, um, by the book and very hardcore about doing things properly and making sure you practice and was like really like a very hardcore teacher. And so I think I have like, I don't know. I didn't enjoy it as much because of that fact, and like I think she was trying to like push me to be this amazing musician, and I was just starting off, so it was kind of weird. But I feel like once I got to more of the saxophone and started taking private lessons with a teacher that I actually really liked, I started to really enjoy it. But like most kids, it was always get hard to get me to practice because
Right.
your friends are out playing outside and you got to be inside practicing scales and doing whatever. So it's not the most fun thing sometimes for a kid.
Right, right. But did you gravitate toward it pretty quickly? Did you pick it up kind of quickly?
Yeah, yeah. It always music seemed to come natural to me. Like I feel like everything sort of creative in my life has come really naturally to me, whether it was acting or, when I was a kid doing drawing and or some sort of arts and crafts and music. Always felt like I was a very artistic and creative kid, and to this day still express myself creatively in a lot of different ways, even outside of music.
Yeah, I like some of your. I watch your videos on Facebook, man. Those are pretty entertaining, man.
Yeah, I mean, the hard part is just like being consistent. Like, artists nowadays have to be sort of content creators in a way, and now that I have a family, it's hard to like make sure I have the time to like stay consistent with that. But yeah, I enjoy when I have the time to like do creative videos or create content. I love the process of it. And so yeah, I've always kind of remained really creative in my life.
That's all right. We started another year, 2026. So, I like to, since we're still in January, I like to ask my guests, can you reflect on 2025 musically? How was your 2025 as far as your music went?
Yeah, I feel like for me it was a big growth period, and it was sort of rejuvenation in a way. So candidly have taken some time away from music since around 2020, for a lot of various reasons, some personal things with my family and the passing of my dad. COVID happened. My kids started to get a little older and really wanted dad to be around. And so I had to make some decisions around just like how much music was going to be a part of my life, because it was taking a lot of my time, a lot of my energy, and my energy was really required, and my time was really required elsewhere to be there for my family and also take care of myself as well, and really kind of refocus myself. And so, fast forward to like, end of 2024, all of 2025, I started playing a lot more locally here in Minneapolis with um, a really great artist by the name of Alex Rossi, who I've known since we were teenagers. He decided to kind of bring me into his band. And so that kind of like sparked my passion again for music, which had just been sort of dormant for so long, and since everything happened. And since all that 2026 came around, and I just kind of made the conscious decision. I'm like, you know what? I think I need to get back into this a little bit more, and be a little bit more present in the music industry. And that's when I decided that I was gonna, hopefully release some music this year, and really start putting myself out there again, and kind of reinvent myself and sort of reintroduce myself to the music scene.
That's beautiful, man. But when during that hiatus that you had, did you still practice or just the horn just stayed in the closet somewhere?
I'll be
Talk to
honest,
me.
man, for a long time, it stayed in the
It
closet.
stayed
Like,
in the closet.
yeah. It was a weird time. Music's been such a part of my life since I was a kid. Like, and um, yeah, it was weird to lose that fire and passion for something that has been such a part of my soul for so long. But again, when you have things like that I went through, you sort of get lost in a way, and you kind of have to recenter yourself at some point.
That's all right, man. You know what? I tell you what, man. I really enjoy your playing, man. You got a lot of swag, man. You got some of that hip hop, some of that rock. Hey, but I love it though, brother. You know what I mean, man? So who are some of your influences, man? Where'd you get all that style from, man?
Yeah, so my growing up, my biggest influence that my parents turned me on to was David Sanborn. I wanted to, from the second I heard him, I'm like, that's what I want to sound like. That's who I want to be like. Because yeah, exactly. And such a pioneer of not only music but also the saxophone. Like he influenced and inspired a whole new generation of saxophone players. And I loved his soul, the soul that he had, the tone that he had. He played a lot of blues music, which is what I grew up playing. I was really grew up playing mainly blues and R&B. Was never really a big jazz guy. Um, and so I kind of gravitated towards his playing because it fit my style as well. So he was a major influence early on in my career, and then I started kind of listening to a lot of more of the smooth jazz saxophonists like Candy Dulfer, Richard Elliott, Dave Koz, all the legends in smooth jazz. So all of those guys really helped shape my saxophone playing. But then musically, Prince was probably one of the biggest influences in my life as far as just musical style. I loved that he spanned so many different genres, and I always wanted to do that. Deep down inside, I desperately want to be a rock star.
Right, right,
So
right.
I loved the fact that he was able to meld so many different styles of music together, and like that's what I always wanted to do. Is I didn't want to pigeonhole myself into just being a smooth jazz guy or just being a blues guy. I wanted to do it all. And so yeah, Prince and David Sanborn, huge influences of mine. Also, Maceo Parker, stylistically, the funk, like I really gravitated towards his playing, and that also comes through in a lot of my phrasing and the way I approach music as well. There's nothing like hearing Maceo Parker play. I've never heard a saxophone player play like him. The simplicity of how he plays, but it's so powerful. It's so funky. And so yeah, I would say Maceo, Prince, and David Sanborn are probably like the three major influences. But I listen to all kinds of music. I listen to hip hop, I listen to rock and roll, heavy metal, pop music. I do listen to some jazz. I listen to it all.
Right.
The one thing I don't listen to is probably country music.
All
So,
right. You
so
know
yeah, I
what?
try to be as diverse as I can musically.
I hear a lot, all those influences. It's funny you mentioned that because I heard Maceo all day in there, man. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And then I heard Sanborn on that altissimo and that trilling and that trilling that you doing down there, man. I said, "Ooh," I said, "This brother got some flavor here, man." Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard being from Minneapolis and not having some sort of like funk inside you.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Prince obviously put Minneapolis on the map, but there's so many other amazing artists locally here that help build the Minneapolis sound. And so I'm inspired by all of those artists. And, the one thing moving forward musically that I want to do is I do want to pay tribute and homage to all of those amazing artists that put Minneapolis on the map. And my next album or songs that I put out are going to be very heavily influenced by the Minneapolis sound.
And which brings me to another question though. Some of the musicians there, Stokely. Did you work with Stokely before, right?
Yeah, him and we did a show. This is a long while ago. This is when Michael Jackson passed, but the city of Minneapolis, all the Minneapolis musicians here put together like a tribute to MJ. And so he was on that show, and so we got to perform together, and that was ridiculous.
That
And
guy's amazing.
he is yeah out of this world.
The sing and and people don't realize he's a musician as well. He's not just a singer. He's a drummer.
Yeah,
He's a great
exactly.
drummer. Yeah.
Yeah, incredible musician all around.
Yeah. Yeah. So who are some of the people there? I noticed that you worked with Eric Gale and Ricky Peterson. Is Ricky Peterson, is that the same one he's worked with Sanborn?
Yeah,
The
yep.
keyboard player, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
correct. Yeah, he's
Okay.
part of the Peterson family, which
Right.
is a really famous music family here from Minnesota. They're all ridiculous musicians.
Yeah.
They're all amazing people. They do a lot to help the music community here. Um, Ricky actually produced my first album that I ever did and played keyboards on it, and he was so gracious and really helped kind of bring me along musically. Paul Peterson, who is an incredible bass player and singer and musician, he played on my last record, Pink.
Right.
Um, they're all just really great people, and have had the opportunity to hang out and perform with all of them, and they've done a lot of great things not only for me personally, but for our musical community. Eric Gales is another one. Met him when he was living here for a while and became close with him and his wife LaDonna, and they're just really great people. And I actually went on tour with Eric. I believe was that 2023 already now? Yeah, I think it was 2023. Did a little short tour with them, which was awesome. Really like being on stage with somebody like Eric, who is like literally a living legend on guitar.
Yes. Yes.
It brings something out of you personally, but it's also a little intimidating too, because you're like, my gosh, man, this guy is not even on this world as far as how good he is. So you feel a little self-conscious sometimes, but he never made it feel like that personally. It's just my own sort of like interpretation of it. But yeah, really enjoyed working with him as well.
How did you develop? I mean, I know about all the people you're influenced, but how did you develop such a great sound, man? Your tone and your clarity, like on Altissimo, man. What kind of things did you practice to get there?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think when I was younger, I attribute it to really having a good understanding of what I wanted to sound like, and then just working really hard at creating that sound. I feel like tone over everything is so important on saxophone because it really does define your voice. It creates the unique you that you are. Because there's, thousands of saxophone players out there, right? And
Yes.
what sets the really good ones apart, in my opinion, is they're instantly recognizable, almost like a singer would be, right? Every
Right.
singer has their own sort of unique voice. And so I really spent a lot of time working on developing my tone and my sound. And that was, again, all inspired by David Sanborn. And so
Right.
my practice method when I was younger was I would just learn all of his songs. I had these books that had all of his songs notated out, and I would
Right.
learn them, and I would just jam along to him. That was my way of practicing. I probably should have spent more time doing scales and exercises and things, but I spent my time just throwing on music and jamming to it and sort of trying to replicate the sound that I wanted to hear. And also like learning phrasing and things like that as well from a lot of these players. But yeah, it was really around making sure that, yeah, the way that I want to hear myself in my head is coming through on the saxophone and really trying to work hard on that. Did a lot of experimentation with, as sax players do, with mouthpieces and reeds and ligatures and all that. Yeah, exactly. And I'm to this day, I'm still, I have a new mouthpiece coming in a few weeks. So it's like, I'm always like trying to figure out what the next thing is.
It's something about, it's funny you mentioned that, man. It's okay. I know he said you get something that you like, play it. Okay, that's great. But there's always something else around the corner. Like Jody
Yeah.
Jazz just brought out that new Quasar. Now I'm not really
Right.
looking for one, but I'm gonna be at NAM next week. It's gonna be all over the place. And next thing you know, I may have one over here. I don't know.
Exactly. I think at the end of the day, if you can though, like if you find your sound and you really love it, like it's hard as artists to just stay stagnant and be like, okay, we're good. I feel like we're always trying to evolve, and like
Right,
sometimes just if it's working, if it's broke, don't fix it, right?
right, right. So let's talk about gear, man. Let's see, are you saying we talking about mouthpiece? I love gear, man. So what is your setup right now? What are you playing?
Yeah, so right now I have a Sios 3D printed mouthpiece. I'm sure you've heard of
Oh
them.
yeah, I've had a couple of them.
Yeah, so I had one. I was I- I've had it for like a couple years. I feel like it's a little too bright, and so I just ordered a new one. That came, I tried it, wasn't totally happy with it, and so they're modifying it now. So I have a new one coming. It's a little less bright, but hopefully a little more powerful. So yeah, I'm using the Sios as a mouthpiece. I have a Silverstein ligature, and then my preference on reeds would be Marca reeds, which is who I was endorsed by when I was touring a lot. Unfortunately, I can't find them anywhere locally here, so I have to order them online. If I can't get those, then I'll go to Van Doren Javas, and usually um, like three and a half strength. Um, and then the problem with the Javas though is like I find them to be wildly inconsistent. I love them, but sometimes it's like a box of 10. I can only get like four of them to like play
Yeah,
the way that I want it
right,
to. So,
right,
whereas I felt like marker reads were insanely consistent. And so, yeah, I usually try to order those if I can. And then my saxophone is a Eastman 52nd Street. Um, and I've had that for, gosh, it's been a while. And I want to say maybe 10
okay.
years. And yeah, before that, I had a Yamaha Silver 62. Um, but yeah, really love the Eastman. It's a great horn. I was also like part of their endorsement team when I was touring a lot. They're a great company to work with as well.
Are you only playing alto right now?
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
early on in my career, I had soprano, tenor, and alto. But something about the alto sax. I don't know. I'm biased because that's all I play, but I
Right,
do
right.
think it's the more superior instrument. So tenor players don't come at me for that now.
You know what's funny about that, Danny, is when I had Doc Martin on, Doc Martin said same thing. Doc Martin said, "Man, I just want to be the best alto player ever." He said, "I don't have to play all the rest of those." And that's a good, you know what? Hey, that works too, man. If that's what you want to do,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and let's be honest, less gear to haul around too.
Yeah, yeah, that's true though. Yeah. And like me, I like alto and tenor and soprano. I don't like as much because your sopranos it kills me to just try and play it in tune. So
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're preaching to the choir, man.
yeah.
Yeah, I've experimented with the curved ones, the
Uh-huh.
straight ones, and it's just wasn't my thing. It was also for me hard to find a unique sound on the soprano. I feel like they all kind of sound the same.
Right.
Whereas on alto and tenor, I feel like there's quite a bit of difference in a lot of in tone from player to player. And yeah, soprano for me was just always like, just not really, doesn't really do anything for me.
So now that you got re-energized, you ready to do this thing now. So what's your practice schedule like these days? Let's get back to that.
Not as much as it should be. I still have, like a lot of people don't know this about me, but I have a full-time day gig as well. I'm in the creative industry and have been very blessed to work in another industry outside of music that has really helped, me be able to provide for my family and provide for myself. So my day gig does, take up a good chunk of my time. And then I got two little boys that are 10 and 5,
Um,
and that obviously takes up even more of my time. And
right, right,
so
right, right.
my practice schedule is hopefully I'm playing like once a week. I think once I start recording and writing more music, I'm going to need to be playing a little bit more just to get my chops a little bit, up to standard. But I gotta, find the time to do it now that I'm kind of committed to sort of like reintroducing myself back into the music scene.
When you don't practice for a while, how does it? Because I know me personally, though, if I don't practice for like 2 or 3 days, I feel like, I mean, I don't normally go no more than like two at the most, but
Yeah.
it feels weird, man, when you try to start back again, though, man.
Yeah, I don't find that if I take like a week off, it affects me much, but it's like the extended, like if I haven't played my horn in like 3 or 4 weeks, my brain doesn't catch up with my fingers as well as it used to. And my lips get really tired really
Yeah,
quickly.
yeah, yeah,
And like, listen, you know, being a really good musician does require practice, and I probably need to dedicate a little bit more time to it. But I also have to be a realist too, and like make sure that I'm spending my time wisely on all the things that I have to do.
yeah,
And my family does come first, and while I would love to be able to like sit and play my horn for 3 hours a day,
right.
unfortunately, it's not realistic right now.
Hey, did you ever do weddings and things like that?
Yeah, like so there's a DJ company called Generation Now, which is a local company here in Minnesota that they specialize in all types of events. And they have a staff of DJs that they work with, and then they bring in musicians like me to actually perform alongside them at different events. A lot of them are weddings, corporate events. One of the DJs is the official DJ for the Minnesota Timberwolves, so they're a really established company, and so I've actually been working with them a lot more lately as well. So I'm kind of supplementing. I have like these sort of DJ wedding or event gigs, and then I'm playing, once or twice a month with a couple of really great local bands, and then going to be obviously be starting to write some new music and recording new music. So I'm happy with like where we're at and the balance of things. I don't know if we'll ever get to a point where I can like start touring again, but I would like to maybe start doing some out of town shows with myself. Potentially once I start launching some new music. And then there's also a really great smooth jazz promoter here named Stephanie, and her and I are talking about doing some shows locally here. I don't know if you're familiar with Tony Exum.
Yes, yes. Tony Exum Jr. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. That's a bad
Yeah,
that's a bad boy there, man.
I know. So Tony's a really good friend of mine. He was actually just here doing an event with Stephanie, and I went and saw him play and got up and jammed with him for a song. But we're gonna bring him back out. Him and I are gonna do a kind of a tribute to Maceo and a tribute to
Okay.
Grover Obill.
Oh,
Uh, yeah, so something this fall. So that's something to look out for, and we're gonna do that here in Minnesota. And so yeah, hopefully we'll start getting out and doing some more shows as
it's
well.
funny how these things go full circle. I was actually supposed to interview Tony last month, but the
Oh, okay.
snowstorm it caught him,
Oh,
and then we rescheduled. We just haven't been able to do it yet because he's busy. But I'm going to get him on. I already got it on my. I had everything ready for him, but it just didn't happen. But it's going to happen.
yeah.
Tony,
All right,
I'm
well, we're
talking
calling
to
him
you,
out right
bro.
now. He's got to get
That's
on
it,
here.
Tony. I'm talking. Hey, you see, I'm on here with your boy Danny. Danny, tell him Danny to go on and do it with Dave Saxology. Tell him, man.
I'm gonna text him right after this.
Hey, that's all right, man. So have you who have you done some recording as a sideman? Some playing on some people's albums and stuff?
Yeah, more local stuff. Haven't done a ton of national, projects because I've always just been really focused on my own music, and
Right, right.
so, but yeah, I've definitely done some more local things. I did. There's a kind of like synthwave 80s artist out of Michigan that I did a sax solo on, which I think ended up actually being added to a video game, which I thought was really cool. So can say that my solo was in a video game.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, more like local artists versus kind of national.
Okay. Have you ever played the national anthem at any of the sporting events?
I have not, but it's on my bucket list of things to do. I was just talking to somebody about this the other day, and you know, if I do it, I want it to be really iconic, you know. So I was talking to one of the DJs that works for this company that I do some stuff with, and I was like, man, it'd actually be kind of cool to do like a DJ and saxophone national anthem with like them scratching records while I'm playing the national anthem. It could be very like syncopated and have a lot of rhythm to it. So yeah, if I do something, I want it to be like really iconic. And there's a lot of opportunities to do it locally here. So it's something
Yeah.
I should do. And
Yeah.
also, I'm like terribly frightened to do it for some reason. I've played on so many stages in front of so many people. There's something about that that's just like, I don't know, man. It's
Talk to
it's
Tony.
just
You know, Tony's done it several times. Just holler at him and see what his trick was. So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
because I
Have a
can
shot.
imagine you have to. Because I was going to ask him about that. You have to be nervous as I don't know what to go out there and do that song.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it obviously has a lot of meaning to it,
Yeah.
so you don't disrespect the national anthem because we've all seen those videos and people botching. I don't want to end up on the internet. Let's just say that.
Oh, that's right. Hey, so are you a big sports fan too?
Yep. Yeah, huge Minnesota sports fan. You know, Vikings, Minnesota Twins, and the Minnesota Wild, our hockey team, are probably my top three favorite. And then admittedly more of a bandwagon Timberwolves fan, but
Yeah.
it's hard to not love Anthony Edwards and
Yeah.
what he's
Yeah.
brought to the
He's a
team.
bad
And
boy, man.
they were just so bad for so long that I
Yeah.
couldn't deal with another team that would break my heart every year.
I know one thing though. You shouldn't have let Sam Darnold get out. But we'll talk about that another time. Though you shouldn't have let him
Oh
get out
man,
the door.
listen, I totally agree. I think it's looking like we maybe had a huge swing and miss with JJ McCarthy, and
It appears that way right now. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think he's obviously gonna come back and
Right.
hopefully he'll get a short leash. And if he messes up, he's gonna be gone. But maybe he'll get kind of a year working with KLC, and we'll see what he comes back with.
Right. Hey, so did you ever go to music school after high school? Did you do any
I
of
did
that?
not. I ended up going to school for graphic design instead.
Okay.
Thought about music school, but I always kind of knew that, what if this music thing doesn't work out? Probably should have some sort of backup plan in my career. And, obviously being in the creative industry is adjacent to the music industry, right? So I'm still flexing that kind of creative muscle. And
Right.
so I still have I really love what I do during the day. It's not like I'm sitting at a desk and, I'm an accountant and just punching numbers.
Right.
Still get to be very creative and flex that side of my brain. So, no, I took private lessons all through high school, and then was also in jazz band all through high school as well, and had some really good teachers along the way. So
So when you first started on the sax, did you play by ear mostly, or did you start reading or automatic right away? What was your process?
yeah, obviously being in concert band and jazz band, there was a requirement that you had to read music.
Okay.
But I will say that I am definitely an ear player. I play mostly by ear. I used to be able to read music, then I stopped doing it for so long that I just never ended up having to do it all that much. And so yeah, I would consider myself kind of a full ear player right now. Like my method to learning music is just I listen to it about 8,000 times and then I just memorize it.
So you have relative pitch then instead of perfect, or would you say
Yeah, I would say relative.
relative?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's man. I wish I had perfect pitch. That'd be nice. You can just hear one thing and just play it right back. Boy, that ooh man, that'd be amazing.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would.
Everything just boom.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So, talking about horns, vintage versus modern horns. What's your take on Mark Six versus Eastman or Yanagisawa? Or have you ever played a Mark Six?
I've always been a modern horn guy. I think the biggest issue with a lot of those vintage horns, while they're amazing, is just so expensive. I
Yeah,
mean, like to
right,
get your hand on a really, really nice vintage horn that plays well, it's going to cost you a lot of money. And so I was always on the budget horn if,
right. Yeah, I
since
know
I
that's
got
right.
older. So, um, and then the cool thing is like the Eastman is kind of modeled after a lot of those vintage horns to have not only the aesthetics of it, but the sound as well.
Right,
But then you get all the modern amenities of, really nice ergonomic key placements
right.
and things like that. So yeah, I think some of those old vintage Mark Sixes sound amazing, but it also comes with, their own issues as well.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's more of a modern horn guy.
I am too, man. I'm a shiny guy. I like shiny horns and stuff too, though. So,
Okay.
I'm a cannonball guy. I like those kind of,
Yeah.
and Yannis, but,
I played cannonball for a while. I was always the opposite. I like the dirty, dingy
Oh,
horn. If
yeah.
you see a
Okay.
saxophone, it looks like it hasn't had a bath ever. It's disgusting looking.
Hey, so let me ask you, when you playing with singers, though, what is your method to when you play with a singer as far as filling in spaces, or what is your approach to that?
Always less is more, which is something I think like most young musicians early in their career, you learn the hard way, right? Like as a saxophone player, we have tendencies to noodle a lot and step over vocals but working with artists where you're not the feature, like you're there to complement what's going on around you and you listen to the space around you is really important. Find those right moments to fit in something that again complements the music and don't overstep your boundaries. And then when you get a solo tossed to you, then let her rip, and that's your time to shine. But yeah, I always try to do a really good job of listening when I'm on stage and just making sure that I'm complimenting what's happening and I'm not overstepping my boundaries.
That's a good answer, man. And let me ask you about you have any pregame rituals, man, before you go on stage? Do you play with your reeds, you soak them an hour before? Like Sanborn and all those guys, those weird things they do before the show. You have anything?
Yeah. I used to have some weird rituals. I mean, yeah, I would sometimes soak my reeds in like booze, or like a glass of vodka or whiskey or
Right.
something. I don't know why I did that. It seemed to help. I tried the Sanborn method of soaking reeds, and kind of leaving them in sort of like a damp jar. I would always have issues with like them growing mold at a certain point, so it got really kind of gross. But I feel like if I'm on a gig where it's like my band or something, or like a really high end gig or a big performance, I do try to warm up. I feel like just going on stage cold sometimes is really difficult. Getting my hands and fingers to kind of like warm up and get loose and get my brain and my hands working on the same plane. So I just try to warm up and just kind of noodle around usually before a gig, making sure I have the right reads and things like that. So a lot of times the bar gigs that I'm on, I don't have any sort of warm up. It's just kind of like show up, do sound check, go grab a beer with the fellas, and then when we're ready, like hop up on stage and go
Let's
after
go.
it. So,
That's all
um,
right.
yeah, the read thing, like I don't know, I feel like all that stuff of soaking and doing all this prep and stuff. I don't know if I feel like it ever really helped or like impacted my playing or my sound in a way that was like this is all worth it. Like I feel like you know few minutes of just getting the reed ready beforehand can do the same thing. But I know everybody's got their own kind of their own process. So
You ever try the synthetic ones, the Legiers or anything?
I have, I don't know, something weird about them. They feel uncontrollable to me. Like from a tone perspective, I just never felt like I could quite get where I wanted to be. And then I don't know, I always just felt like I was never in control of my embouchure and what I was playing when I tried those. But yeah, I love the idea of them because I'm like, oh, just buy one reed and it lasts for,
Couple months or what have you?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Instead of having to buy a box every month.
I use those, but you know the thing is, yeah, but the thing is, one does cost you as much as a box, though, because
Sure.
38,
Yes.
$39, and they're not. I was talking to somebody about this recently. They're not as good as they used to be either. They used to last a lot longer. Now they get a little cracks in them. You can see the little lines in them now, man.
Yep.
So it's like,
Yeah.
but like I think Adrian Crutchfield was saying, yeah, they figured out they can make more money if they make them not as good.
Yeah,
They were before they
exactly.
was lasting, man, but now they ain't
Right.
lasting like that.
It's kind of like your iPhone. It's meant to degrade over a long time, so you have to get a new one.
That's exactly what it is, man. Hey, so what kind of hobbies do you have, man? You have any hobbies that you do outside of music?
Yeah, for sure. I'm a huge golfer.
Okay.
Love golf.
You
Like,
too? Okay.
yeah, borderline obsessed with it, to be honest with you. In the summertime, if I can be outside golfing, that's where I want to be.
What's your handicap?
I got down to a 5 this year.
Oh,
So I'm hovering like anywhere from like a 5 to an 8, depending on the time of year.
I was saying, man, all up until this point, man, we had all this stuff in common. And then you said you got a 5 handicap, bro. We done now, man. This interview is over, bro.
Hey man, I got to give you strokes then. So,
28 at least. 'Cause I'm coming around in the 90s, bro.
Hey, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cool thing is I have a really good friend group of guys that we all play with. We do a league on Thursdays and then try to get out, 3 or 4 times on the weekend a month. And then we actually do a Ryder Cup tournament every fall with a group of 12 of us. We kind of travel around to different places in the Midwest and do like a whole tournament with us. And so, yeah, it's fun, man. I love it.
Man, shoot, man. So you shoot in the 70s, man. What's your lowest score?
I shot even par, so it's a par 71. I shot a 71 last year.
Wow. Yeah, yeah, you're really good, man. Yeah, we done.
But the funny thing is people think like a 5 handicap's like, oh, you're always shooting the 70s. Like, well, no, it's like I could shoot like a 75, a 78, and then go put like a 95 on the card the next week. So, there's a lot of ebbs and flows.
Yeah, but for the most part, though, you're staying away. For the most part, you're at least in the 80s when you don't have a good game, though, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah, for
see,
sure.
that's what I'm saying. I can't stand you, man.
Yeah, like I would be mad like if I scored like an 85, I'd be really mad with myself.
Oh, God. I play, since I live in California, obviously I can play a lot. So I play on Fridays. My boy Clarence and my former pastor, Pastor G, we all go out there, man. It's a
That's
beautiful
awesome.
game, and it's all about the camaraderie with us, though, man. Because
Yeah.
neither one of us any good. We just like to play. We just enjoy the game. Yeah.
Listen, people ask if I go golfing by myself, and I'm like, rarely ever do I golf by myself.
Right.
Because for me, I love playing with my friends. I love being around my buddies. Yes, I love golf, but you're right. It's about the kind of camaraderie
Right.
and just getting out there with your buddies and just having a good time and laughing all day.
That's it, man. So how do you get over nerves on playing in front of people? How are you when you walk out there on the stage? How do you get yourself ready to go when you get on the stage?
Yeah, I think one thing is just being prepared as much as possible musically is a way to really overcome that. Like if you're already feeling, oh man, I don't feel like I prepared myself enough for these songs. The one song is too hard for me. Whatever is going through your head musically, I think you have to be as prepared as possible because that provides the confidence that you need to go out there and just do what you always do. And so, yeah, just making sure that you're well practiced, well prepared musically. Um, and then I think it's just that confidence just comes with repetition. I remember being younger and being really nervous jumping out on stage, but now it's like stage is just like such a second home. You know, it, I rarely do I jump on stage and feel nervous or uncomfortable. Um, I think maybe the last time I did that was maybe with playing with Eric Gales, but that was just because he's so damn good. I just felt like I was not adequate enough, but that was my own personal issue, right? It
Right,
wasn't
right,
that he
right.
was saying. Um, but no, if you just feel self-confident and feel prepared, I think you can do anything. I also think it really helps too, just like for younger musicians that are just getting into it, like go play bar gigs, go to an open jam session, go to a place that you feel safe, and you can get up there and boost your level of comfortability and confidence on stage. And so you have to start small, and then as you grow and grow musically, you get on bigger stages, and yeah, it just sort of becomes second nature.
Would you encourage with that advice? That's some good advice. Would you encourage younger artists to also try to play different genres as well? Don't just see because I play sax, I got to play Coltrane. I ain't playing nothing else. Would you encourage them to do elsewhere? Go
I
elsewhere.
would encourage everybody to play every style of music, everything that you can. I mean, admittedly probably didn't learn enough jazz and have rarely played a lot of jazz. And so, like, if somebody calls me for a jazz gig, I'm probably not feeling too confident about it. So yeah, I feel like if you are able to play every style of music and you feel great in all of those, especially if you want to be a sideman too. If you're
Right.
not like interested in being the front man and do your own thing, the best way to make music is to be as diverse as possible and be able to play with anybody. If you want to go play a country gig one day and a straight ahead jazz gig the next, like all that's going to pay money. So.
So when you leading a band yourself, like when you did your own record and stuff, what kind of band leader are you? Are you one that a stickler for, hey, you guys, we need to have this right, when we come in, right? Rehearsing is for rehearsing, but it's not for practice. So you should do that at home. So how do you navigate that?
Yeah, unfortunately, like when I was doing a lot of touring, I was using bands um, local to whatever city I was in. So like every show I did, it was with a different band. And so my expectation was, I've provided you with all the materials and everything necessary to show up to the one rehearsal we're gonna have. My expectation is that you're ready to do it and do it right. And I had a few shows where you could tell the band wasn't all that prepared, and that's frustrating for artists. Like, I don't know if those musicians think of it from our perspective. It's like, this is my investment, it's my name out there. If something goes bad or we sound horrible, like that's a reflection on me. It's not a reflection on you guys. People are gonna just remember, oh man, Danny Q sounded awful. That was a horrible concert. And so, yeah, I would encourage everybody to make sure that you are prepared as possible. I would love if I was touring with a band, having as many rehearsals before we actually went on tour, I think would be my ideal, and just making sure things are tight. Like, you hear stories about Prince and all the crazy hours of rehearsing that they did to make sure that every single note, every single part, every single moment was as tight as possible. He would, religiously go and watch concerts of himself and nitpick. And so I think there's extremes one way or
Right,
another,
right,
but
right, right.
yeah, I think, I would always encourage musicians that are performing with an artist to give them the respect of showing up with the music learned. And like you said, we're not practicing here, we're rehearsing. And there's
Right.
those two different things for sure.
Who is the most famous person you ever met?
Gosh, just in general?
Yeah, just in general.
Gosh, that's a good question. I mean, I'll say musically, David Sanborn was the
Oh,
the
you met
the most.
Sanborn? Oh,
Yeah. I got to meet and hang out with him after one of his shows, which he was really cool. Um, Gary Clark Jr. was another famous musician that I met. I didn't meet Prince, but he did show up to a gig that I was playing one
Uh,
night, and so that was cool.
yeah,
Although I was
yeah.
like, "This is hell," and I think I played probably the worst solo of my life when he was there because I was just thinking like, "Oh my God, Prince is here." Um, yeah, I would probably say Sanborn is probably the biggest musical person I've met.
You know, Paul, I interviewed Paul Taylor. He said he met Sanborn because I asked him, I said, have you ever fanboyed out on somebody, you know? He said, man, David Sanborn. He said, I met him. He said, I was like, wow, my God. I was like, man, you Paul Taylor. He said, but that's David Sanborn. I said, yeah, you got a point. You know?
Listen, I got so nervous when I met him. I felt like I was just rambling and I was like fumbling over my words because I didn't know what to say.
Right,
And I
right.
just afterwards I felt like such an idiot. I'm like, man, I think I really screwed that up.
You know, I met Marcus Miller last year at the NAMM show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and the first thing, you know, I said, sorry about Dave. And we talked for a few minutes about Dave, man. He was like, I still miss him every day, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was his
it was
boy,
sad.
you know? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was super sad. I definitely shed a few tears over that.
Yeah, man. So you said you got a lot of things coming up in 2026. So let me ask you, what is a 5-year plan you have for right now? Where will you see yourself at next 5 years?
Oh man. Can we do a 5-month plan instead?
Whatever you want to do, bro.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I haven't thought that far ahead. I mean, first things first, I really, really want to release some new music this year. I want to come out with, I might just start with like either a song or like a 3-song EP and not just go completely crazy with it um and just sort of like say like, all right, here is myself reinvented. Here's kind of my new sound. Here's what I'm going for. Um, and put that out there and see where it goes. And so I would probably say I would probably say by the fall we'll have something released.
Okay.
I'm kind of thinking about who I want to work with from a like producer perspective right now. I have a few people in mind, but I want to make sure that whoever I'm working with has a really good understanding of the Minneapolis sound because again, my goal here is I want to release music that I love and believe in, and but I also want it to be sort of like my tribute to the Minneapolis sound and the appreciation that I have for all the artists that have come before me and really helped put Minneapolis on the map. And to be honest with you, like that's the sound that I love. And so, um, selfishly, I record music for myself first, and hopefully then the people love it. And because I just love being creative and I love writing music. So.
That's all right, man.
I think after that, like we'll see where it goes. I mean, maybe in the next couple of years, like if I've built some momentum, start maybe trying to do some shows outside of Minnesota with myself, start doing some more local shows with myself as well, and start kind of put myself back out there because I think, I had some momentum and that was all really killed with a lot of different things. And so I feel like in a way I'm kind of starting from scratch a little bit here, and so I have to sort of embrace that and understand like if you leave the music scene, you can be forgotten very quickly, and so it takes a lot to get yourself back in there.
And it's amazing, and because you have the sound, it's you know you have everything, but it's just that in the music business, it's like you said, there's thousands of records being released every day by
Yes.
independents and record labels, though. So it's hard to find a niche and get yourself in there. But you know what, brother, you got a good attitude, and you speaking it into existence, brother. It's gonna happen for you, though, man. You know,
Oh, I appreciate
yeah,
that.
it's
Yeah.
gonna happen, man.
It was, it was hard going through when my dad passed, like that was like soul crushing to me. And I couldn't even think about playing music for a couple of years. Like it
Right.
just didn't feel right. Like it was not anything that I wanted to have anything to do with because I was just like, I was, I was healing. I was like a broken man, but I was also healing. And so, um, you know, life is what it is, and you have to just kind of like find your way through those, you know, find your way through all that. But excited to kind of like find that new passion again for music.
That's beautiful. So let me ask you, let me get your Mount Rushmore saxophone players, any era.
Oh
And
man.
you can have five. So you can have five.
Okay. I'm gonna get crushed by probably the like really old school jazz heads because these are gonna be all mainly modern players. But we're gonna go David Sanborn. We're gonna go Michael Brecker. We're gonna go Bob Berg.
I like that.
We're gonna go Maceo Parker. And then I want to throw Kenny Garrett on there.
That'll
I'm
work.
like I'm either Kenny Garrett or Candy Dolfer. I know they're very stylistically different, but I love Candy's playing. I think I gotta throw Kenny Garrett on there.
All right. That's a good list, man. And you know what? Candy Dorfer does not get the credit that she deserves. That woman
Agreed.
can play, right?
Oh man, she is
She
ridiculous.
is. That Lily
Ridiculous.
was here. When she came in, that
Oh,
Lily was here. Get out of here, man.
I feel like that song is like, I mean, if you think about like top 10 most famous like smooth jazz songs,
It
like
has
I
to
feel
be
like it's
there.
gotta be in there, right? Like it's got the hook and the melody is so instantly recognizable. And it felt like you just heard it everywhere and still do. Like it's crazy.
That call and response with Dave Stewart was
Yep.
insane. You know what I
So
mean?
good.
Yeah,
So good.
man.
Yeah.
Well, Danny, this has been a very interesting interview, bro. I really appreciate your time, man. I like what you're doing, man. Too. I like your flavor, man, your style and your swag, man. And you just keep doing wonderful things, brother. The universe is yours, man.
Oh man, I really appreciated that. And like to be honest with you, having people like you reach out and want to engage like that just I'm so thankful for that and thankful for all the people that continue to like reach out to me and say hey man like the world wants to hear you still like keep pushing yourself out there like I it really means the world to me to have that kind of support system and so yeah I just want to say thank you to you for reaching out to me and bringing me on and I hope we can do it again sometime.
You know what? It was my pleasure, and we can definitely do that, man. Because I'm growing relationships. I'm not just interviewing people. I'm a musician myself. I don't play pro and that, but I understand what you guys are going through, man. And I just love to share your stories, and it helps me. And if it gets you one more fan, it's even great for you too, right? It's win-win for both of us, man. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I love that and love what you're doing. And thank you for supporting the art, musical community.
Thank you so much, man. And before you go, can you let everyone know how to get in touch with you, booking wise, or if you have merch or whatever?
Yeah, just go to Danny Q, the letter Q, sax.com. You can get in touch with me there. I got, videos and stuff up there. You want to watch them. You can also go on Spotify and listen to my album that I released in 2019 called Pink. Again, it's under Danny Q. I guess we didn't really touch on that. I kind of dropped my last name and just went with the letter Q because nobody could ever pronounce my last name. So now it's easier to find me.
So you're not you don't you drop the sax, you just Danny Q now? Or what?
Just Danny Q.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right, man. So hey, Danny Q. Hey, once again, brother, our prayers for you in Minnesota. Everything's gonna be okay. You know what I'm saying? Keep your head up and
Yeah.
you guys just, hold it down, man. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Hey, you're welcome, brother. This is going to be on Facebook a little bit later, and I'm going to put it on YouTube, and I will tag you as well. All right.
Okay, perfect. We'll get it shared.
Thank you, Danny. Hey, you
All
guys.
right.
Thank you so much for listening to Saxo Friend. That's my man, Danny Q. You guys keep a lookout for him. Beautiful things are coming. You guys take care.